Miko from West Hoathly near East Grinstead. Her mum's care home won't give her ECG status. Why won't they, Kate? What's their reasoning?
Good morning, Alison. Thank you for having us on. They just don't acknowledge it, really. I am getting quite reasonable visits now. I can see my mum in her room, but I arrive. I have to take my test with me, and I then go round to a fire escape at the back of the building. I have my temperature and oxygen levels taken. I put my mask, apron, and gloves on, and I'm escorted into my mum's room. And at the end of the visit, I'm escorted out again. But they just, I don't know. This is one of our big questions: is why care homes won't acknowledge ECG.
I suppose it's because the advice is just that. It's just guidance, isn't it? It's not mandatory. They don't have to do it. I suppose, though, if you don't have that ECG status, if, God forbid, that care home did go into another lockdown, you wouldn't be allowed to visit your mum anymore, would you?
No, not at all. And I'm having a debate with my care home manager at the moment. I mean, it's part of quite a big group, and certainly in the most recent letter, some of what they've said is, we've added to the official guidance to make our own policies and procedures more robust. And should the home have an outbreak of COVID, a restriction on all visits will be advised. So it's you live from week to week wondering if you're going to be able to see your loved one in a care home, really. And it just puts a huge amount of stress. And mum's been in the home for 6 years now. Her dementia is very advanced, and that very close personal contact is so important. You need it to respond. But I mean, what we simply don't understand is why people are having to ask for and fight for this ECG status. It should be offered. It's in the guidance. It's there. It's right at the top of the guidance. And in June, it was changed for everyone to be allowed to nominate an essential caregiver. In July, it was companionship was added to it. And so, and since July the 19th, so-called Freedom Day, care home visiting guidance hasn't been re-looked at, apart from a sort of minor tweak from the track and trace point of view in August. But it's frustrating that it's just not being acknowledged, really.
And I can hear how distressing it is as well. Everyone we've had on today, has talked about the impact that it has had on their loved ones' health. They've seen them deteriorate because they haven't had that contact with their loved ones. Saying that, though, do you understand why care homes are going to be cautious? I mean, we know, don't we? That they saw some awful things. They lost a lot of residents during the pandemic, which of course isn't over. Do you understand why they just want to be really careful? Because I mean, they would argue that they are doing this to protect your loved one.
Of course, and it's. And you'd be stupid not to understand. Care homes have been through the most horrific time, but there are infection control measures. We're 20 months in now. We know a lot more about the virus, and it's not just the physical health; it's the mental health of our loved ones in care, and it's not just older people. We must remember that there are a lot of young adults with sort of learning disabilities or whatever who've been kept away from their parents, and it's most people in care homes now triple vaccinated, I would assume, if they've chosen to be, and we've got to live with the virus. It's here, and it's. Of course, one understands, but there have been some great managers as Rights for Residents campaigner. We work with some really good care home managers who've been doing full contact visits since last July.
I think that's the thing, though, Kate. You make an important point. From what we're hearing, it seems to be quite patchy. Some care homes seem to be managing this, allowing family and friends to visit. Others, not so much. I'd love to hear from you on this. Someone here says, regarding the care homes, Ali, they won't let anything risk their profits and won't risk their cash cows, i.e. the residents, catching COVID. Money is everything, even to the point where my late father-in-law had the audacity to die at the beginning of the month. We still had to pay thousands for care he couldn't use until the end of the month. Oh gosh. You can let me know your experience. Text me 81333. Start your